Hello Zumba friends, Amy here, and I have had a few questions regarding this, so I thought I'd make a quick video, a couple videos actually, to give you some 101 tips for doing Zumba. Perhaps this is brand new to you, and I'm sure it's hard to learn in this format virtually. But hopefully this will give you a little bit of help. So first of all, disclaimer, I don't own the rights to any music that I use, and I am not speaking directly on behalf of Zumba. I have no authority with them. Does not represent their views and opinions. This is based on my own experience and learning and personal opinion. So with that said, let's get into just a few core things that you may see in one of my classes at least, and likely in a lot of other Zumba or even other dance aerobic type classes. So hopefully these will help you to jump in quickly and easily and perhaps understand a little more what your body is doing. So one of the main things, hopefully you can still hear me back here, is the step touch. So just what it sounds like, you're gonna step, touch, step, touch. This happens a lot. I do it in every warm-up. So you step to your right, touch, don't fully plant your foot down, just touch, step to your left, touch. Obviously that's very easy physically, right? But you can make it bigger, right? By pushing off more, push away, you can sink more into your knees when you land. It can be faster depending on the rhythm. You notice how I kind of turn my body towards where I am going, or away from it. Step, right? I can lean a little bit, so I'm activating my core. The deeper you go into it, the more you get out of it. So you put into it, you get out of it what you put into it. There's even different kinds of step touches where we might add some arms. Do a little arm pump, all right? Get more of your body engaged. Make it bigger, right? There's other kinds we'll see in there, but I wanted to keep it as simple as that. Basically, there's style variations. You can make it curvy. There's fitness variations where you can really get into a squat, all right? Another basic thing that we do a lot is stepping side to side. So with the step touch, you have 2 points that you're working from, right? You go to your right and then to your left. With the side to side, you have a center point and a point to your right and a point to your left, okay? So I'm at my center point. I can step out, back in, out, back in. It's really about transferring your weight. So I transfer to my right foot, to my left foot, return to home. Transfer my left foot to my right foot and home. We do this in salsa, merengue, all sorts of different styles, okay? So salsa is curvy. We'll get into that later, but this is just your basic. So yeah, different styles. We can do different fitness variations, such as squatting side to side, right? We also have a fitness variation in merengue, where you sweep your arms, and it's almost a side lunge. Kind of turn your knees and land, side to side, okay? We also have a V step, right? So that is where you'd make a V, just what it sounds like. Out and in. Step out, back in, okay? This we'll do a merengue with our hips. You could do things with your arms. Lots of variations, but you'll often see what's called the V step. It can be a small V. You can go really deep into it, go down, and get more leg work. Another thing we do, which I mentioned a second ago, traveling side to side, forward and back, all different ways. Often it's just 2 steps. 2 steps to your right, to the left. In Zumba, we almost always mirror what we do. So if we've done it to the right, we're gonna do it to the left. 2 steps, 2 steps. Now the classic grapevine, you step behind. So it's still 2 steps, but on my second, I'm stepping behind. Tap, step, behind, step, touch, step, behind, step, touch. We do this in salsa. We do it in merengue. There's variations, of course, style-wise and fitness-wise, as mentioned. And it doesn't have to be side to side. We can do front, 2, and back. It may feel like 4 because we have 2 feet, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We could do them on a diagonal. Notice it's 1 and 2, 1 and 2. We can do it to the 4 walls, right? So we can come forward, 1 and 2, back, 1 and 2, to the window, to the walls. We can go back, and of course the other wall. Got it? That's what we call 4 walls. We'll do that often in Zumba. To the front, turn, 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 back to the front. So that's some of our traveling. And in traveling, you may also even see 4 steps instead of 2, and I'll just give you a 4. 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's talk a little bit about squat form. We always do squats because it gives you your biggest bang for your buck as a calorie burner with these big muscles here and here. All right, so the most important thing is to protect your knees. You want to keep your knees in line with your toes and not over your toes. All right, so in line with my toes means I'm not turning in and buckling. I'm not over like this and going forward. I'm keeping them lined up with my hips. Okay, hips, toes, hips, knees, toes, head, shoulders, hip, no, okay. All right, and then you want to sink back as though you're going to use the potty, but not touch it, but also not get your underwear wet. All right, so we sink back. There we go. Keeping our knees here. See how they're not going forward. Keeping my core engaged, my back flat. Sink and lift, okay? You don't have to go super deep, but of course, if you can and you go deeper, you'll get more out of it, okay? So keep your core tight, keep your knees here and back, sit back and straight. We often use our arms and it's kind of like a counterbalance, right? We may go bigger with the arms. And there's variations on the squat. We can do what's called a sumo squat, where you turn from your hips, turn your feet and knees out, right? It doesn't have to be a complete 180. Keep it relaxed and comfortable, okay? Everybody has different flexibility. You may need to be a little bit more in. I'm fairly open. And you're just sinking down, almost as though you're between 2 walls and you have to slide down between them, okay? So you're gonna really engage here and then squeeze from here and your glutes. Almost as if this and your glutes is what's pulling you back up. It's a real mental thing. We can do it without thinking about it and not get a whole lot out of it. But if I think about where I'm activating and squeezing and pulling from, I get a lot more out of the movement. All right, so we can do it's called sumo squat. Really squeeze here and your glutes lift. Tight, tight, tight. We could do our legs together. The key there still is pushing the booty back. And we can do a lunge. And just like with a squat, protect your knees, don't let them go over your toes, and always step back further than you think you need to. Okay, so if I take my right foot back, and don't have it super close. We're not on a balance beam here. Keep them hip width apart. Sink straight down. And your goal really is 90 degrees here and here. All right? So nice and far back, straight down. Don't let your kneecap crunch the floor, but almost touch. That's a lunge. All right? And of course, we'll do both sides. One more tip is having to do with your core. I want you to always think about being tight and, you know, activating your core and letting all the movements flow from that. You hear it talked about a lot, but it really is a mental thing, just trying to get used to it. So one of the basic moves that we often do early in the class is kind of a basic twist. So you want a stable foundation, almost like a squat, right? My knees are bent, my hips are over my heels, and my core is tight. Now the legs are not moving here. We don't want our hips swinging around. This is a stable foundation. All the work is happening here, and you're twisting. And go gentle at first if this is new to you, and especially if you have back problems. Make sure that you're not tucking your tailbone too much. Keep the natural curve in your back here. Don't over exaggerate, right? Just let it feel like a nice neutral position. And you're gonna bring your shoulders across, like imagine there's a center line here and I'm trying to reach my shoulder to it, but the power is coming from here to get me there. Push, push, push. Often we have our hands here, so we know what to do with our hands because this is awkward. Okay, so almost like a fighter stance, twist, twist, twist. And the tighter you are, almost like it's preventing you from turning back, the more work you'll get in your abs. We have lots of variations there too. We can add in a punch. And just think of it coming from your shoulder, shooting down your arm, and whip it back. The more you put into it, the more you get out of it. I'll say it a million times. So shoot from the shoulder, push. We got the twist happening, whip it back. Okay? We can do a fun variation that I like to do where you add a little knee lift, twist, twist, lift, twist, twist, lift, twist, twist, lift, twist, twist. And I'm really contracting and pushing it back out. We can do the twist and add punches overhead, right? Which really works your obliques. We can do, there's so much core stuff. We can do knee lifts, right? You're just in place and you're lifting one knee and then the other. Now if I do it just like this, I'm really only feeling a tiny bit here. But if I think about my core pulling my leg up and maybe even bringing my top down, then I get a nice crunch here. You can make it bigger with your arms. We can do kicks in the same way. If I'm just kicking like this, I don't get much. But if I think about my core counterbalancing, so like if I go to kick, but I lean back like a counterbalance, I'm activating, stabilizing here, which gets a whole lot more into the core. So I have a move where I do like a little mini squat, lean back, kick. Got my counterbalance here. Okay, so from the side, really leaning back for my core. There's a whole lot more I can get into, but I don't want to bore you. Just want to give you some basics. I'll do a merengue, a salsa, maybe a cumbia, and a reggaeton video later. But real quick, just to show you an example of some of these basic things, let's do one of my warm-ups that I do at the beginning of the class where you'll see a lot of these things put together.
Break of day, in hope we rise. We speak your name.
I'll see you at class Monday, 5:30, or Thursday at 10. Just an update is I'm probably not going to do Zoom after all. I'm going to still do Facebook Live because that has a better sound and picture quality. And then I'm setting up a second device to record for those who are going to tune in after the live. So cross your fingers. Hopefully that works out. More to come on some Zumba 101s.